Your wait is over. The Fantasy WNBA Today is back. It's a different week, all right? We got a lot of stuff going on in the draft, and we had to move things around a little bit. So it's your boy Rick Kamla here. We are the Fantasy WNBA Today. This is basically a reality show. We do give you some fantasy goodies later on in our podcast here, but so it's been about 10 days. This is like a week and a half recap of what's been going on in the WNBA recently. And so we really appreciate you guys joining us. Please retweet this on your timelines and let them all know that your boy Cam is rocking the WNBA. So let's dive in with my top three from last week. And I do want to tell you that Coach James Young of SportsGrid is going to join the program. We're always very psyched to have him here with us. The biggest story in the WNBA right now is DeWanna Bonner wants out. She has played the Kevin Durant card. Bam! Get me out of here. I've got her back like to Egypt, to Mongolia. DeWanna, I got your back. I've been screaming about this all year. What a bunch of bull crap this decision to bring her off the bench is. Is Lexi Hall playing well? Yes, she is. Lexi Hall should not be starting over DeWanna Bonner in any WNBA scenario. It just shouldn't happen that way. Bench Natasha Howard, somebody like that, who also is a terrific player. They're deep, okay? But anyway, according to Annie Costabile, DeWanna Bonner has no interest in returning to play for the Fever. I saw this report yesterday, and I was like, yes. Literally pump my fist like Tiger on the 18th green at the Masters. Like, yes, let's go, baby. Because I've just thought this was such a gigantic pile of bullcrap, and I'm glad that she's calling everybody out on it and not just going with the flow. Oh, I'm a vet, and I'm just going to be quiet. No, let them know this is bullshit. Okay, and she did that. And now guess what? Teams are going to line up to go get DeWanna Bonner. She's still a really good player, all-star level player. Indiana's ruined her for now, temporarily, but she missed her fifth consecutive game with the Fever on Tuesday, and it was deemed as personal. And I was like, when I first saw DeWanna Bonner out personal, I'm like, she fucking bailed on the team, bro. Not in a bad way, but like she was like, I'm out of here. I can't do this. I'm not mad at her. Think about you go to your job every day and you're in your role, okay? And maybe you're a hotshot like DeWanna Bonner. Maybe you just are in a role you're comfortable in, okay? Maybe not a boss. And you go to work one day and it's completely changed. Either you've gone from boss to non-boss, or you've gone from employee to now you have like the worst job in the shop, right? How are you going to feel? You're going to want to get out, okay? This is where real life meets sports. DeWanna Bonner's not happy. She has every right not to be happy, okay? If anybody out there is banging on DeWanna Bonner, you are fucking clueless and you don't know what you're talking about, okay? Also, you don't have any empathy in you at all. Again, this is not just a player. This is a future Hall of Fame player. I thought about this yesterday. All right, this triggers me and it gets me very, very passionate. Imagine if DeMar DeRozan, okay, because DeWanna Bonner, she's a future Hall of Famer, no doubt, but she's not talked about a lot at the tippy top, right? It's Taurasi, it's all these ladies, right? I feel like DeMar DeRozan is a pretty good NBA comp for DeWanna Bonner. Future Hall of Famer, one of the best scorers the league has ever seen. Not really talked about a lot, right? Maybe gets under the radar, lost in the shuffle a little bit. Can you imagine if somebody decided to bring DeMar DeRozan off the bench? All hell would break loose. If DeMar DeRozan was like, get me out of here, I ain't coming off the bench, I'm over here applauding that, okay? So it's and nobody's going to do that to DeMar DeRozan. I'm just saying that's what's happening to DeWanna Bonner. That's why I've been sounding alarms all season long about what a bunch of BS this is. You know what I'm saying? So she left the team. She last played for the Fever on June 10th. And now there's a report. What are her preferred destinations? Phoenix and Atlanta. And I love that too. That's so G. Like, don't send me to, Washington. Washington's okay this year. She's like, yo, I want to handpick my spot. Again, it's a very Kevin Durant thing to ask or demand the trade and then say where you want to go. And I don't know how weird it is between her and Indiana. I don't know if Indiana's going to want to comply with her plan. If I'm DeWanna Bonner, well, I mean, I don't want to go to a crappy team. I don't. I will say this, though. A team like Chicago, could really use DeWanna Bonner. The veteran, 15, 17 points a game. They could really use her. A lot of teams could use her. Stephanie White, who's been dealing with her own stuff, kind of out with the team, back with the team with personal stuff. And again, God bless. I don't know what's going on there. She said, I haven't had a lot of conversations recently. Really been focused on the group that we have right here and what we need to do to position ourselves to win. I don't like that quote. Clearly the thing is a divorce and it's just unzippered and DeWanna Bonner's taken off and Stephanie White's like, all right, I got to move on with what I have here. But Stephanie White, you're to blame for this. You are. You coached DeWanna Bonner in Connecticut, and somehow, some way, you got it in your dome that it was okay to bring her off the bench in Indiana. What the F are you thinking, man? For real. What are you thinking? Now you've got, look, Indiana was about to make an ascent, and maybe they still are, probably still are, to the Liberty and the Lynx, all right? DeWanna Bonner was supposed to be a big part of that. Think about this team with DeWanna Bonner in the starting five with Natasha Howard and Aaliyah Boston and Kelsey Mitchell and Caitlin Clark. It's the most power-packed starting five in the WNBA, okay? Even more, I'm telling you, it's got a little bit more pop and sizzle than Minnesota and Liberty. I'm not saying they're a better team or ready to beat those teams in a playoff scenario. I'm just saying it's so much freaking firepower, I can't even stand it. And then you've got Lexi Hull and Sophie Cunningham coming off of your bench. Okay, that seems like a pretty perfect arrangement to me. Duh. I don't understand how Stephanie White doesn't get that. Bonner averaged double figures her previous 15 years in the WNBA. 15 years straight of double figures, and she's at 7.1 this year. DeWanna Bonner, I'm a fan. I've always been a fan, and I got your back, okay? And I love her standing on her business, standing on her ground, drawing lines, setting boundaries, all that stuff, okay? And taking charge of her own life. Now, Phoenix or Atlanta? It's tough. I'm going to separate this into two groups, fantasy and reality. In fantasy, and I have a lot of shares of DeWanna Bonner, and I have not cut her. She's DeWanna Bonner. I'm not cutting DeWanna Bonner, okay? So I've just kind of had to live with DNPs, and I've moved her into my IR spot in a lot of the ESPN leagues. It is what it is. I mean, I've been dealing with that all year. Clark, Collier, Tiffany Hayes. I mean, my God, the injury. It's been a nonstop parade. Brittany Griner's not the player I thought she was going to be this year. A lot of left-handed knuckle slurves are coming at me in the WNBA. Still doing all right, though. In fantasy, I say Phoenix. There's more elbow room there. There's a lot of role players, Westbeld and Whitcomb and players like that, and McConney. Who have been really solid. I mean, I looked at Phoenix is 11-4. Phoenix. Coach James Young's team is 11-4. My God. Okay. So for fantasy, I like Phoenix for DeWanna Bonner. For reality, I like Atlanta because Atlanta's got a little something cooking too. And they have a really good starting five. They've got a couple of really good bench players. And if DeWanna Bonner goes there, now you're 8 deep. If you're the Atlanta Dream, depending on what they give up to get her. So I say in fantasy, I want Phoenix. In reality, I say Atlanta for DeWanna Bonner. All right. And by the way, this is now a trend in the WNBA, and I like it. You remember former Seattle Storm player Lee Uru asked out, immediately got traded to the Dallas Wings. And I will talk about her later in the show in the fantasy section because she just had a big-time double-double, and she's playing now and playing very well, and she's winning, okay? So it's all good stuff. It is the WNBA The Fantasy WNBA Today with your boy Rick Kamla here, sportsethos.com. And we love talking about the WNBA. We love the WA in general. And I'm telling you right now, number 2 in my top 3. We have Coach James Young. So I'm not going to get into number 2 right here. We are going to bring on Coach Young right now. And you know what? As we bring on Coach James Young of SportsGrid, I first of all say good morning, hello, how you doing, Coach? Good to have you back.
It's great to be on with you, Rick. Obviously, big day and with the NBA draft and trying to get everything cooking there. But yeah, the W doesn't stop. And I know you mentioned DeWanna Bonner and you mentioned Lee. Obviously, first off with Lee, the playing time was never going to be there. You look at Megaber, you look at Awumake, you look at Gabby Williams, and you even look at the French kid Malanga. She wasn't going to get the time, and it's important for the Chinese national team that Lee plays. So you go to a team like Dallas, which is just burying Tiara McCowan on the bench. There's an obviously need to put her in there. Obviously with like players like Melissa Smith and obviously Paige Beckers. So to me, it made perfect sense. And Dallas has been a team, coming off a really good win last night by 12, I do believe they won. And a team that since Paige has been back, people have sat there and talked about Caitlin Clark. I get it. I had a wild take that got me in trouble with a lot of those SportsGrid guys. I said that, in my opinion, Paige Beckers is the better overall player. Caitlin's a more explosive player, especially offensive with the ball. But what Paige can do is phenomenal. And I will say this. I got a chance, when I was coaching at Monmouth, to go on the recruiting trail and watch Paige Beckers and I think it was like the Minnesota, I want to say Metro Stars was the name of her AAU team. She was the best player that I saw in that year. More than Clark, more than Van Lith. I saw her torch Haley in an AAU game. She is the absolute goods. I just wonder how they're going to work this out because to me, I think you can move someone like Enrique Awumbawale, build it around Paige, build it around Lee, who I think is going to give you something, build it around Melissa Smith, who at times put up really good numbers for the Indiana Fever. I think that is what I would do if I was Kurt Miller, and Kurt Clueless was what we call him. I think at least that's what I call him, Kurt Clueless, the coach over there in Dallas. When you get to DeWanna Bonner, folks, let's just put the elephant in the room. Why does you want to go to Phoenix? Her wife is Alyssa Thomas. She wants to go play with her spouse. And those two have a good chemistry on the basketball floor together. I also think you put her as a catch-and-shoot three-point shooter with Sabally, with Alyssa Thomas, and with the walking bucket Kalia Copper. If DeWanna Bonner's head is right, and she's won championships in Phoenix. Let me be honest with you, folks. Put DeWanna Bonner on the Phoenix Mercury, they could be the best team in the Western Conference.
You've been talking about them all year, Coach, and based on the injuries, look, it's just one of my things. When you lose two legends, Taurasi and Griner, what the Phoenix Mercury are doing right now is extremely rare. It doesn't go like this. You don't just reset and get better coming out of legends in all the run that they had. I just found historically in all of these sports, this is not how it goes. So it's really cool what they're doing. I want to go, and I agree with you. I said earlier, in fantasy, I want DeWanna to go to Phoenix. I feel like there's more opportunity there. In reality, I'd kind of like to see her on Atlanta because I think she could be a big-time difference maker there. But I love everything you said right there. I want to go back to the Indiana thing, Coach James Young of SportsGrid. because I've been banging on the clueless Koklannis all year for his dumbass decision to bench Tierra McCowan. She took the damn ball and went to Eurobasket about it, okay? And so there have been some really dumb rotational decisions. And to me, Stephanie White deciding to disrespect DeWanna Bonner and bring her off the bench. Coach, I literally complain about it on every episode. So I was so freaking happy yesterday when I saw that she has asked for a trade. And we know that she will soon get it because Lee just got traded. Bonner will soon get traded. But what is Stephanie White on? What is going on with that? How did she come to this decision? And do you agree with me that it was a really dumbass decision?
You know, it's funny, Rick. When you look at DeWanna Bonner, people forget she was with the Connecticut Sun last year. Her coach was Stephanie White. No one knows DeWanna like Stephanie does. So that's the shit that makes no sense to me. Is you just had her in your building in Connecticut. You bring her with you, and then you just bury her after 2 or 3 games, trying to figure it out with Caitlin Clark. Listen, I'm going to say a take that's may not be really popular, but you know me, I don't give a shit sometimes. I think this was not about basketball. I think putting in Lexi Hull, that fan base, what they represent, Caitlin Clark, the fact that they're rabid, I hate to say it, the fact that she's white, it looks better. Now, to Lexi Hull's credit, she's done extremely well. So I'm not saying they're wrong based off of what Lexi has done in the starting lineup. Stephanie's been right about that. I just don't think you take a seasoned pro that is third all time in WNBA scoring, and you just fucking bury her like she's some kind of scrub.
Exactly. My thing with Lexi Hull is, and look, I think she's a terrific player. She caught my eye last year. Splashing threes, diving on the floor, kind of like a Jalen Suggsy type of player at a lower level, but high motor, really aggressive, gutsy player. I like her a lot. I believe she was in the starting lineup over DeWanna Bonner because that's what Caitlin Clark wanted. That's what I believe. And Sophie Cunningham is a bench player, and she's terrific, and she's absolutely broken social media over the last 2 weeks, and good for her. But I look at it, I think Caitlin Clark wanted Lexi to start. They obviously vibe. Lexi Hull and Caitlin and Sophie look like best friggin' friends, which is cool. But, and we know, look, Caitlin Clark, Coach, you tell me differently. They blew out their coach, right, after 1 year and brought in Stephanie White. I'm not calling her a coach killer. I'm just saying that she was probably in concert with that decision, right? So that's how I look at it. All right, let's shift gears here, man. Coach, you've been talking about Seattle as a little bit of a sleeping giant this year. It feels like they're turning the corner, and I really struggled with their 500 record. You're beating a team you shouldn't beat, then you're losing to a team you shouldn't lose to. You're around 500. Feels like they've turned the corner a little bit. Do you agree?
Yeah, and I'll tell you right now, what the number thing they need to do is they need to get rid of Jewel Lloyd. They had to get rid of Jewel. And getting Skylar Diggins back, I do believe from maternity leave, I do believe. I don't think people realize how good of a player Skylar Diggins is. You know, Skylar Diggins in the WNBA was a scorer. Skylar Diggins at Notre Dame, holy shit, watch the fuck out. I mean, that girl was a walking bucket. But it's getting her back and getting Gabby Williams for an entire year. Gabby Williams is a kid that really didn't do much in the WNBA, went off to play with France, came back, and we're like, oh my God. But then we remember, like, she's a UConn kid, right? Like, UConn kids all seem to do well in the W, right? It doesn't matter where they get picked, they seem to do well. So when you have that front line, and you could sometimes go triple big with Gabby, Awumake, and Megaber, it's incredibly hard to score on them, and you could use them especially 3-4 with Nwumeke and Gabby, you could kind of move them around like chess pieces to find that advantage. Now, they have some impressive wins. They beat the Aces by 20. I do believe they're the ones, I think they're the ones that ended the winning streak for Minnesota.
That's correct.
They beat the Liberty. Now, they also beat the Liberty without John Quell and without Sab.
Mm-hmm.
So we got to push back a little bit. But to me, going into the season, I thought that Seattle and Phoenix were the two teams that I thought were going to be better than people think or thought. And so far, I'm right. Rick, it's what are we, a third of the way through the season, right? We still got a long ways to go, but you got to be happy with those fan bases, especially Seattle, who at one point was a championship level team. Bird retires, Stewie leaves. You're left with Jewel Lloyd. They start to go down a rabbit hole where they became a middle of the road franchise, and a team in a city with a big basketball culture. I don't know how people understand. In that Pacific Northwest, because of what Kelly Graves has done at Oregon, it's a basketball hotbed up there. So it's important for the league, in my opinion, that Seattle does well. I also think it's important for the NBA to fucking bring back the Sonics as soon as possible.
Coach James Young of SportsGrid. I love this guy. Coach, I got one more for you and we'll let you go. We got to talk about the Golden State Valkyries, man. What I want to know, have you monetized this incredibly difficult to see plus 500 early run by the Valkyries?
I monetize them in regard to taking them during games. I think they're still getting wildly disrespected by the book. Folks, she's the fucking coach of the year right now. She's the coach of the year right now. She's the coach of the year right now.
Natalie Nicassi's killing it.
She's killing it. It's amazing. Natalie leaves. Who is she with? Vegas. Title contender year after year. She leaves Vegas. Vegas ain't Vegas no more.
Good point. Wow.
So sometimes you're, and I'm not knocking Becky Hammond, but as a coach, you're only as good as your staff, Rick, right? So losing Natalie has been a great deal. Kayla Thornton was someone that did not get the time with the Liberty, except for when Benaja Laney Hamilton would be hurt last year. And she showed stuff. But let me tell you something. They're dialed in. They're connected. They play really fucking hard, especially on the defense end of the floor. And my favorite part about that team is their fans. That they showed a video, Rick, on social media when Thornton hit that big shot against the Fever. And usually, like, when you go play Caitlin Clark, even if you're in New York Liberty, which is like, one of the, you could say the most popular team in the WNBA, right? Championship team. They have 3 of the top 10 players in the world, probably 2 of the top 5 if you think Sab is there with Stewie. And you look at that team, and even when they play Indiana, there's people cheering for Indiana. I've seen it. My girls want to go to a game. I know Sab. They don't want to go see Sab. They want to see Caitlin Clark. That eruption, when Caitlin Thornton hit that shot against the Fever, I was like, holy shit. That's a big advantage. So tonight, the Liberty come in as 9.5-point favorites. The way Natalie's having that team, and I'm a Liberty fan, right? There's no way in hell I'm laying 9.5 points to the Valkyries at home tonight.
You obviously, in our audience, remembers Roracle. Back in Oakland, Golden State's old house, on the way to their dynasty, and you had the We Believe, and you had all the different vintages of the Warriors and stuff like that. Okay, how many Warriors teams were they 35-45 or 35-47? And that damn place was packed every night. bringing it to a boil every night. And those are the same fans, right? They're in San Francisco. It's in the Bay Area. They love hoops. They love supporting their team. And I think it's an amazing story. Coach, I will let you go on that note. Anything you want to promote? Tell them what gigs you got coming up. What do you got coming up here?
Well, tonight starting at 7:30, myself, Big Ten Ben Stevens, Kevin Walsh, and Tom Vecchio will be hosting SportsGrid's NBA draft coverage. Myself and Ben will be out of the New York City studios. Kevin and Tom will be out of our Jersey studios. You got to get the interesting way of watching NBA draft. Obviously, Ben does a great job running the point. Kevin gives you the gambling analysis. Tom will give you kind of that fantasy focus in regards to guys coming into the NBA and how they look. And then you get me, who gives you your coaching background. So I'm a little bit different with my draft board. I don't look at, best available. I look at, what I think is the best fit. For instance, I think Ace Bailey's going 3. Why? I think Ace Bailey's getting traded to the Brooklyn Nets. I think it's lined up with the Nets, with the number of draft picks that they have available at their disposal. And the fact that Philadelphia can tie in Paul George's contract to get him out and move down the draft is intriguing. There's a lot of things to look at. Where does a guy like a Derek Queen go? I'm a big Nick Clifford fan out of Colorado State. I think he's going to be a sleeper. And then you have the senior guys that had great college careers that no one's talking about. The Walter Clayton Juniors, the Cam Joneses, the Eric Dixons. These guys are fall late first, second round. How do they project in the NBA draft? So be on the lookout, channel 159 on Sirius, and we'll have it on Twitter, but be on the lookout for the NBA draft coverage starting tonight at 7:30 this evening.
Coach Young, I really appreciate it. Say hi to Ben Stevens for me. I agree. He does absolutely a terrific job, and I know you'll have fun, man. I'll be in touch, all right? Be well. Go kill it.
My man. Thanks, Rick.
My man. Coach Young NJ. That's his Twitter handle, at Coach Young NJ. Love the passion. Love the energy. Love the he's a coach. If you're surprised that a coach is cussing, then where you been? Coaches cuss, okay? I've always said Coach Young is rising on this chart. The two greatest cussers I've ever been around are PJ Carlissimo and Lawrence Frank. Those dudes turned the F word into an art form, I'm telling you. And it's not disturbing it's hilarious, okay? It's absolutely hilarious. And those are two of my favorite guys. All right, good stuff, man. Back to our top 3, and I wanted to kind of save my thoughts for Golden State after Coach went right there. So Monday they crushed Connecticut 87-63. They're 7-6 overall, 5-2 at home. They had 5 in double figures in this game. Kayla Thornton, who Coach mentioned, again led them. I think she had 22 in this game. But they're the best story in the WNBA right now. I can't believe I'm saying this. Look, Phoenix is a great story at 11-4. They absolutely are. I would have more believed that than Golden State being 7-6 if we had this conversation before the year. You said, which would be more surprising to you? GSV 7-6 or Phoenix 11-4? I would have said GSV 7-6. It's the best story in the WNBA right now. They had 6 straight home games recently. 18,000 plus fans every night. They're outdrawing the Liberty and the Fever. Okay, that's crazy. They are in a playoff position right now. Matter of fact, let me go to the standings. They would have the 6th seed right now in the WNBA playoffs. That's crazy. They're projected to make $55 million in revenue. That does not include media, merchandise, or extras. And that alone, according to Clutch Points, would have beaten 8 full MLS teams last season. That's MLS, as in men's soccer, okay? Like, the big-time pro soccer here in America. And I love what Coach said about the fans, because Nikasi's done a fantastic job. She is doing more with less in a big way. This is not an overly talented roster. It is her coaching. It is the connection Coach talked about. It is the fact that they are defending their butts off. And it's all powered and charged by a city who's got their back right out of the gate. San Fran in Oakland, the Bay Area, was not like, oh, okay, we got a WNBA. Oh, what's going on? No, they were like, we got a WNBA team. Oh, my God. when are we going? Are you getting season tickets? I'm going on Thursday. Are you going? Like, it's a huge freaking deal out there. They love hoops. They're used to winning, okay? Like with Golden State and the dynasty they have on the men's side, that they want to just duplicate that on the women's side. Clearly, they're a long way from any of that. But that love for hoops, that zeal and zest for winning, I think it's all plugging together. The team is plugged into the city. The city is plugged into the team. It's just awesome, dude. It's totally badass. Completely agree with Coach. I'm happy to hear. That's why, no excuses, but I'm going to start kind of getting into some WNBA betting here as the season goes along. I've been really locked in with the NBA playoffs, and just like I've just had tunnel vision and blinders on. Scope is going to open up. I'll start getting into some Major League Baseball strikeout prop betting and just the stuff I like to do. So I was curious about GSV because I had a feeling that despite what's going on right now, that the books are still sleeping on this team. And he said that they are. 9.5 tonight. And it's a Liberty team. Are they going to have Sabrina Ionescu? I don't know. They will not have Jonquel Jones. So if they had Jonquel, Sabrina, and Stewie, and Natasha Cloud, and the whole gang, I may be like, that's going to be tough for Golden State. But no Jonquel, not sure what's going on with Ionescu. The 9.5 does look pretty enticing. All right, so let's move on here. I do want to tell you about the Sports Ethos app before getting to number 3 in my big 3 for the last week in the WNBA. Sports Ethos app, guys, it's free. It's free. Like, why not? Like, it's a total no-brainer because we've been making big investments into bringing you the best fantasy content. And we want you to get a great taste of it for free anywhere you want with your left thumb with the Sports Ethos app. Go to your favorite app store and download it. We have all the latest news for the NBA, the NFL, and Major League Baseball. And take advantage of our fantasy basketball tools. Our ultimate edge is your winning tool, so don't miss out. Okay, guys, I love all-star conversation. But I like the WNBA all-star game. In the NBA, I like talking about all-star. The game sucks. The game doesn't matter at all. You know, like who made the all-star team, who didn't, snubs, not, guys racking up historic numbers of all-stars, all that kind of stuff does it for me. The game sucks. The ladies' game does not suck, okay? They play kind of hard. A lot harder than the NBA guys do. But the all-star starters are crystallizing. Caitlin Clark with the ballot returns came out recently. 515,000 and change. Nafisa Collier at 484K and change. The Caitlin Clark effect is in full effect. Aaliyah Boston, who on her own would probably be in the top 10, but she's third in all-star voting right now at 446K. Pardon me. Kelsey Mitchell is 7th, 277K and change. Lexi Hall is 9th, 217K and change. That's the Caitlin Clark effect. Boston, Mitchell, and Hall all would not. They may be in the. I don't know. I just don't think that they'd be really that close to those numbers without Caitlin Clark. It reminds me of the Yao Ming thing with all the votes coming in from China for Shane Battier and all these other guys. You're like, Shane Battier is like 8th in forward all-star voting. What is happening here? Yao Ming, bro. It's just how it goes. The New York teams, the LA teams, Golden State. Remember when Andrew Wiggins made the all-star team? Do you remember when Andrew Wiggins made the all-star team? He did it one time. Okay, riding the wave of a dynasty and Steph Curry and Golden State and a very sexy team, and boom, you get all these votes and you're an all-star. Okay, good for him. Not mad about it, just point it out. There are these voting trends. This is the stuff I like talking about with all-star. Asia Wilson is at 394 votes. She's 4th, and Brianna Stewart was 5th. Sabrina Ionescu in 8th. Think about this. Kelsey Mitchell and Aaliyah Boston, more votes for All-Star than Sabrina Ionescu. And you're telling me that there's no Caitlin Clark effect. Bull crap, okay? How about Brianna Stewart? She's at, where's she at? 367K. Less than Aaliyah Boston. This is Breanna Stewart. She's arguably the GOAT of female basketball. Like, she's already a GOAT. She's arguably the GOAT. When you combine college and pro, she's arguably the greatest to ever do it. She is in that conversation, man. And these Indiana ladies are getting more votes than her. I mean, it is what it is. It's kind of a funny phenomenon. Paige Beckers is an it girl, man. Coach was talking, I mean, obviously she's super talented, but people love her. She was a borderline first-round pick without even playing a game in Fantasy WNBA, all right? She was like the 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th pick, like end of first round, beginning of second round. So people were on her, and I thought they were overrating her a little bit. And she's had some weird lines this year, but she got 312,000 votes, which is a good showing. And then my new favorite player is Kiki Iriafin. She got 213,000 votes. So think about this. Kiki Iriafin is going to be an all-star in her first year. Paige Becker is going to be an all-star in her first year. That actually is going to be kind of a nice little Rookie of the Year debate, right? Because Iriafin is helping Washington win. She's literally the reason. And I know Citron's been good and Shakira Austin's starting to really play well. But the backbone of that team all year has been Iriafin. It has. And so that to me adds value to her for Rookie of the Year. Paige Beckers is on a team, it's completely upside down. And she's putting up good numbers. And Iriafin's putting up historic double-double numbers on a team that's in the playoffs. I'm just saying, like, Paige Beckers is going to win Rookie of the Year, barring some kind of, I don't even want to complete that sentence, right? Just because she's Paige Beckers and it's all that. I'm just saying, I think Kiki Iriafin could make that a really, really interesting conversation. Rounding up the top 15 in voting were Mahomie Kelsey Plum, Setu Sabali, Angel Reese, Alicia Gray, and John Quell Jones. The All-Star Game will be played on my birthday, July 19th, and that will be on ABC, and it will be at Gainbridge Fieldhouse in downtown Indianapolis, where the Fever play. So can't wait for all of that, man. And more ballot returns will come out. We'll continue to talk about it. All right, I want to tell you about sportsethos.com. All of our brilliant minds are available over there. Right now, you can check out my college football fantasy analysis. If you'd like to play college football fantasy, I highly recommend it. It's very monetizable. It's the wild, wild west. If you're good at it, you will make money, and I will help you do that. Anyway, back to this, sportsethos.com. We pride ourselves on being competitive, taking no shortcuts, delivering the best fantasy product in the game. Our goal is to be the best, to win, and to help you win with us. So please go to sportsethos.com and subscribe to any of the sports. Get our fantasy pass. Just shop around. Give what you want. Customize a package for yourself, and the prices are going to be as low as ever for you because our grandfather programs are going to make your subscription price incredibly cheap as we keep adding more and more value to the platform. All right, the bottom 5 of the last week and a half in the WNBA. It is the Fantasy WNBA Today with your boy Rick Kamla here on Sports Ethos. Caitlin Clark is in a nasty slump right now. Last 3 games, she's been terrible. 22 turnovers in the last 3 games. Those of you who followed my work know that I hate the turnover category in fantasy and all that. And my league, the KAM Dynasty, is a non-turnover league. It's an 8-category league: points, rebounds, assists, blocks, steals, field goal percentage, threes made, and free throw percentage. No turnovers. And I know everybody in the free world has to have that 9th category and put the turnover on. I hate it. I invented this fantasy basketball, and I don't believe that we should be playing with turnovers. Do what you want with your league. But when we are talking reality, WNBA, turnovers are an issue, okay? And that's why I bring it up. 22 turns in her last 3 games. Honestly, that may be the most turnovers in a 3-game span by any WNBA player of all time. Maybe. I know Andre loves it when I hit him with those historical speculative absolutes. And maybe he's grinding on it right now. I don't know. And no, that is not an assignment. Caitlin Clark, and so the turnovers are terrible. The field goal percentage has been terrible over these 3 games. She's gone 21%, 35%, 23%. Her points have gone 11, 19, and 6. I don't know what's going on here. I hope it's just a slump, and I hope it's not some kind of, the quad or the hammy or whatever kept her out. She's had a couple She had the deal in the preseason. Pardon me, the aggravation. So I hope nothing's going on with that. I hope that it is just a slump. Her next game, I believe, unless there's some kind of injury thing going on here, and again, I hope that's not the case. But if she is healthy and she's just merely in a slump, the slump buster is coming in their next game. It is a home game against the LA Sparks, who suck, okay? I would say a Caitlin Clark 20-plus point game is a very, very good bet in this one. She's at home. It's a bad team. She's in a slump. Caitlin Clark is incredibly competitive. You know this is pissing her off and eating at her. She's probably in the gym getting up extra shots right now. So she's going to break out of her slump, I believe, in that game. Number 2, in the bottom 3 for the last week, Atlanta loses to Dallas. Dream, my plucky Dream. What the F, man? How? 68-55. Y'all. My Dream. They're my second team. Minnesota Lynx are my number 1 team. Atlanta was my little team that could this year, so I'm kind of, I dig them. Kind of low-key rooting for them. They had 55 points. They shot 23% overall, 20% from 3 against Dallas. They did not do that against GSV. They did not do that against, like, the Liberty in New York. They did not do that, at Minnesota. And if any of those were the case, you're like, all right, it's a buzzsaw. You're at Minnesota, you're at New York. Okay, you didn't shoot the ball well. Like, it makes sense. It does not make sense at all literally, it's one of the worst shooting games of the year in the WNBA. It's one of the worst shooting games in the history of the Atlanta Dream. I already know that. 55 points, 23%. Doesn't really get worse than that. They're 4-4 on the road. They're 10-5 overall. Okay, so what does that make them? 6-1 at home. So they've obviously got to fix that. Being 500 on the road's not bad, right? It's fine. You want to be excellent at home and 500 on the road. That's what they say. That's what Atlanta is. You can't lose to Dallas, man. You can't. You're making me look bad out here, Atlanta. Brittany Griner's making me look bad out here. I'm wondering if Brittany Griner is getting close. I'm wondering if Brittany Griner's getting close, y'all. You say, close to what? Spell it out. What is the elephant in the room? Retirement is the elephant in the room. Her homie in Phoenix is already in retirement. Diana Taurasi. Remember all those years, all the chips, all that kind of stuff. DeWanna Bonner's in her age 34 season. She is a big body lady, okay? That has helped her in her athleticism and competitiveness and hard work and all that and God-given ability. Be a future Hall of Famer. But it always comes to an end at some time here, guys. And I don't know how much longer she got. It feels like she's winding down in a very, very rapid way. There's a reason Phoenix moved on from her. Hello? Franchise legend? You just let her go? Why? Probably because they knew. The end is near. Is the end near? I don't know. But I just wonder if we're getting closer to it's time to schedule the retirement press conference. I hope I'm wrong about this. I hope this is early season doldrums. She's going to figure it out. She's going to be marvelous. I have a ton of shares of Brittany Griner in fantasy leagues. Okay, I need her. But this year she's at 9.9 points, 5.6 rebounds, 1.4 blocks. All right. That ain't what I signed up for, Brittany. That's not what any of us signed up for. That's not what Atlanta signed up for. They're still winning, but they got to get more out of Brittany Griner, and I've got my eye on her. Not in a bad way. Still really love and appreciate and respect her, but I'm looking at her like, yo, are you done? Are you done? Like, and it's so fascinating. Like the end of Paul Pierce's career, the end of Dirk Nowitzki's career, the end of Kevin Garnett's career, the end of Tina Thompson's career. Like, the end of Taurasi's career, right? LeBron is the only mofo to do this. Everybody else, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Michael Jordan, they all, if they didn't fall off the table, they all dipped. Tim Duncan, they all dipped, okay? And then maybe that last year just wasn't really very good at all. And it was like, all right, I gotta go, right? LeBron is the only guy. He's the only mofo. Him and Tom frickin' Brady. Actually, and Serena Williams. They're the only ones, dude. I know I've just added like 3 people. But that's it. It's 3 people. It's 3 goats of longevity. Serena Williams, Tom Brady, and LeBron. Brady played till 45, man. LeBron is still playing. What is he? Heading into his age 41 season, I believe. And Serena Williams was winning majors in her late 30s, which is absolutely unheard of in women's tennis. And 20, 30 years ago, nobody in tennis did shit past their 20s. That's just how it was. And then, the men's game kind of opened that up. Guys in their 30s, Sampras and Agassi and all these dudes. Now you've had Djokovic and Nadal and all these guys deep into their 30s winning chips, majors. But on the women's side, it's a little bit harder to keep it going deep into your 30s. So Serena did that. Anyway, back to our story here. Bottom 3. Why won't the Chicago Sky play Haley Van Lith? Why? Why? What is going on here? You suck. You absolutely suck. You're in a reset, rebuild, half-ass tank season. Why are you playing Rachel Branham and Rebecca Allen over, and who was the other one I saw? Kia Nurse over Haley Van Lith. Dude, I get it. You don't want to play Haley Van Lith 30 minutes a game. That's okay. You have to play her half the game. Andre, I'm telling you, you were going to laugh your ass off when I say this. I could coach this league from my couch better than these. I get so mad. This stuff is so obvious. Starting DeWanna Bonner in Indiana. Duh. Starting Tara McCowan in Dallas. Duh. Starting Haley Van Lith in Chicago. Duh. What is going on here? I'm in the twilight zone. I am not coming at you with radical rotational ideas. I'm coming at you with the most logical, sensible, reasonable ideas. And these coaches, what? So, Rachel Branham and Rebecca Allen, they're more veteran. They bring more leadership. I'm sure that's what the dumbass coach is saying. All that intangible stuff. Man, fuck intangibles. You are a crappy team, and what you need to do is groom young talent. That's all you need to do. And make a trade. Go get some more firepower in there and get Angel Reese a jumper, please. I'm sorry, Angel. I love you. I do. Angel's I'm sorry. I couldn't resist. Will she get it? I don't know if she's going to get it. She might get it. I don't know if she's going to get it, though. I don't know if she's going to get it. But anyway, add this to the list, Andre. They're proving that I can coach this league. Dude, I'll just do the rotations. Like, y'all do the X's and O's. I'm not an X's and O's guy. I'm not. But rotation, when to call, I'm great with when to call timeout too, right? 7-0, we got to stop this. So I'm great with the timeout. I always nail the timeout during the NBA playoffs. 3-ball timeout. Carlisle walks out on the court, pointing to the ref. I got it. I got timeouts and I got rotations, Andre. I can do this shit, man. I'm telling you right now. But you had the McCowan thing, the Bonner thing, the Van Lith thing. They're just stupid. Stupid, okay? There was one team in the NBA, off the top of my head, the Golden State Warriors had a really effed up rotation. Actually, Phoenix did too. But it was like, Phoenix wasn't as effed up. Golden State's rotation was the worst in the NBA by a mile. But like, there's not a systemic, like, team by team thing of dumbass coach making dumbass decisions. Like I'm seeing in the WNBA right now. Do better. Play Van Lith. It's not really hard. Okay, we're moving on here with the Fantasy WNBA today. Got a few minutes left in the show here. The WNBA, Andre's the best. The WNBA record for most turnovers in a single game is 14. Christy Tolliver with the Sparks back in 2012. For a single season, Caitlin does hold the record with 223 turns. A year ago. I don't know if she's on pace to break that record. You got to figure Clark had 22 turnovers in a 3-game span. Tolliver had 14 in one game. So maybe Tolliver had more than that in that 3-game span or not. But those are good stats right there. Andre, you demand. You may be wondering, like, where's the Sophie Cunningham conversation? I saved it for the cameo of the week. Who else would get the cameo of the week? You guys, I'm going to call it, like the Linsanity thing. Soph Sanity, that's kind of stupid. Sophie Sanity, is that all right? I don't know. But this is like Lynn Sanity. This is crazy. Okay, she takes out JC Sheldon, which was awesome. And Marina Mabrey, what are you doing? Like the body block on Caitlin Clark, just knocking her to the floor. Like, by the way, I loved all that. I did. Not Caitlin getting hit in the eye, like, don't, but just all of the chippiness and pushing and shoving. And Sophie Clark absolutely yanks JC Sheldon down to the ground. And then it's like, what? And then like kind of low-key punches her. Oh my God, yes! 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 This is it, man. This is it. You are not going to push around our star. And then she threw the refs under the bus. She said this has been going on for 2 years, man. If the refs aren't going to protect the star player, I got to protect the star player. Sophie Cunningham, look, I've always appreciated her. Great role player in the WNBA. And just seems like she has a really awesome personality, like super infectious, like life of the party kind of thing, right? And all that. I already had those ideas about Sophie Cunningham, but now, man, this explosion, her like viral arrivals and all the outlandish outfits she wears, I just dig it, man. I dig it. I'm here for Angel Reese being like expressive and individualistic. I think it's awesome. I'm a musician, man. I am a musician, okay? Like personal expression, self-expression, how you wear your hair, piercings, tattoos, jewelry, how you sing. Like, I love it. Do you. Go out there and be you. Don't worry about it. And Sophie Cunningham is totally doing that, man. And she doesn't need me gassing her up. Maybe none of you need me gassing you up, but I do you, man. You want to wear, something you feels a little, maybe not age, or wear it. Wear something that's not age appropriate. Who cares? Do you, man. Express yourself. By the way, I laughed. Sophie Cunningham, she gained 660 new TikTok followers. She has sold out jerseys. Her jersey sales passed Caitlin Clark, okay? And this is the funniest thing here. You want an idea about the difference between the WNBA and the NBA? The NBA fines dudes 25 grand, 30 grand, 35 grand, whatever the number is. It's a lot of money, right? Sophie Cunningham got fined $400. That's like a speeding ticket. Like, and Caitlin Clark said she's going to pick up the fine with all that State Farm money she got. By the way, my favorite commercial, and it's not even close, and it's one of my favorite commercials that's come out the last several years, is the Caitlin Clark logo commercial. It's so clever. It's so creative. They bring the Hall & Oates song in perfectly and weave that in. The production value of it, it is a phenomenal commercial. When she goes Sheboygan, she gets a little smile on her face. I love it. To me, it's like a historic commercial. Remember like the old Bird and Jordan commercial? What was it, Bird and Jordan or Bird and Magic? Oh my God, I can't believe I don't remember this. But they were taking turns shooting trick shots, and they're up in the rafters making shots and all. Absolutely famous. 40 years later, it's a dope commercial, right? I have a feeling that Caitlin Clark commercial is going to have legs like that. I actually think it's going to be like such a classic commercial that we'll be seeing that commercial aired 7 years from now. Like, that's a timeless commercial. You don't have, she's always going to be the logo 3 gal in the NBA, in the WNBA. All right, so time for a little fantasy talk here. But shout out to Sophie Cunningham. She gets the Cammy of the week for one of the greatest viral takeovers I've ever seen. You guys remember the Hawk Tua girl? And I'm not going to go into too many details on that, but like the Hawk Tua girl was a big deal. She actually threw out an opening pitch at a Mets game, right? Because she did something funny in an interview. She was not sober, blah, blah, blah. You guys know the Hawk Tua girl, right? Like she literally broke Twitter, and Sophie Cunningham just broke Twitter, dude, and I like it. Fantasy meets reality. Lee Uru of the Dallas Wings. She was traded. Now she's balling. Last game against Atlanta, that win for Dallas, she was a huge reason why. 10 and 15 with a steal. Okay, 10 and 15 in 34 minutes. In 4 games with Dallas, her minutes have gone 13, 24, 22, 34. They're on the rise. They're here to stay. The Chinese national team is very happy about this, and she's going to be able to stay in the WNBA because of it. Great move by her to ask out. If Lee is on your waiver wire, you got to go get her right now. double check your waiver wire for Shakira Austin. I have been telling you for a couple of weeks now, she's brewing, she's percolating, and she has popped, okay? She's back in the starting five for Washington. Against Minnesota on Tuesday, she went for 19 and 8 with 3 assists and 2 steals. She's probably not available, but check your waiver wire just in case Shakira Austin is still out there. Isaiah James, she's a wing for the Dallas, a point guard for the Dallas. She is a wing. That's why I'm getting confused. She's a wing for the Dallas Wings, okay? There you go. She's filling in for the injured Dejanay Carrington right now. And in the last 3 games, she's been pretty darn good. The lines have gone 11-6, 1-1-1 with 2 threes, 11-4-1 with 2 blocks and nothing else. If she's on the waiver wire starting, go get her. And then Nafisa Collier's out for Minnesota. Jessica Shepard's been taken up pretty well for her. 12 and 15 with 4 assists and 3 defensive goodies in 37 minutes in that game Tuesday against Dallas. All right, pop players. Aaliyah Boston of Indiana. She went for 31 and 8 on 13 of 18 shooting on Tuesday. For the season, she's taken it up a notch. 15, 8, and 4 is her season stat line. 4 assists, right? Lexi Hall, she's been terrific, okay? 15 and 11 in their last game. 2 threes, 2 steals. And so she's really kind of picked up, like all the Bonner conversation. She's like, oh, screw it. I'm going to play even better now because y'all are talking about me. Camila Cardoso finally had a game. Thank you. We've been waiting. 27 and 7, 3 assists, 2 blocks against the Sparks. Can we get more of this, please? Camilla, I've hung in there with you. I drafted you. I didn't drop you. I said, I'm going to ride this wave, man. I'm going to get the goodies. Give me the goodies, man. Thank you. Alanda Smith, without Collier, she's like a terrific, 10 points, 6 rebound, 4 assists, 1-1-1, block, steal, 3. Gal typically. Well, without Nafisa Collier, on Tuesday against Washington, she went 26, 5 and 2, 6 blocks, 2 steals, and 2 threes. Holy cow. Marina Mabry, as we move on to injury buzzkills, sustained a left knee injury against the Wings on June 20th. She'll miss 2 to 4 weeks. Buzzkill. Jonquel Jones, and that's another reason why Isaiah James, who I was talking about, is a really good pickup for you. And Jonquel Jones, the team announced a few days ago, she's going to miss, 4 to 6 weeks with that right ankle sprain. That's a pretty significant injury for Jonquel Jones. How much time do I have here? Time enough for one more little ditty, a little shout out before we get out. It's A'ja Wilson. She said after they lost to Seattle, we're going to continue getting our ass beat until we man up. We spoiled our fan base. Now they expect that out of us every single game. Okay, so they lost to Seattle. They fall to 5 and 7. In their next game, the Aces beat the Fever. Okay, this is leadership. Calling out your team. We suck. We got to man up. And they did. A'ja Wilson, she's the best leader in the WNBA. She's the best player in the WNBA. And that night she went 24-7, 2 assists, 2 blocks, 1 steal, and was absolutely terrific, man. So shout out to A'ja Wilson before we get out. So we did this ditty Wednesday this week. We had a weird week this week. Next week I'm back on Monday with the Fantasy WNBA Today, okay? 10 a.m. Eastern time next Monday, and it'll be followed by the Sports Ethos NBA show with Rick Kamla as well. So we're back to our regular schedule next week where I'm hitting you with a power pack of shows on Monday and not here on Wednesday. For our great producer, Andre Lemouche, and for Coach James Young, and again, give him a follow at Coach Young NJ on Twitter. He's with SportsGrid. Follow his work over there as well. I'm Rick Kamla. We really appreciate y'all watching. Please retweet this on your timelines. Let them all know that your boy Cam is talking about the WNBA at the highest level possible, and we'll see you very, very soon.